But maybe they're like, hey, you know, I ate my little non-GMO pellets that are made from ground up fish and wheat and corn and crap. She waited 6 months to join doTERRA, and then when I followed up with her, she said, not interested, Lance. What was that all about? Well, I'm gonna tell you a real life story and how I handled it mentally as well as, via text in today's story. So one is reference to the first video I did, so I'm gonna give a brief recap. Link will be in the description for that video as well, so you can watch it. And then my follow-up with her, which I wanted to create a follow-up video just because I think it's important to process. For me, this is kind of like video therapy, but for you, either you can relate to it or you can be like, haha, see what happened to you. Obviously, if you can relate to it and sympathize and empathize, that's the goal. But, there's people out there that are like, point the finger. But remember, when you point the finger, you got three pointing back. And even if you do this, you got your hand and your arm connected to yourself. So there's always something that we can own or do better in. And that's what I try to acknowledge. I could have done some stuff better, or, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. I move towards people that move towards me. And that's how I get through these things. But let's get to the details. Alright, so the other video I had was called She Wanted to Join doTERRA but said it was outside her budget. So it was more of a money thing, which I have talked about in other videos. Either you say you can't afford something or it's too expensive. And those are two different mindsets to have. Expensive is more of a value-based mindset. Like, I don't value something enough to pay for it. That's why it's too expensive. Afford it maybe means I don't have the cash flow or disposable income or the money to physically pay for something. There's a distinguishing factor there, and there could be some overlap, and we're not going to get into all that, cash flow quadrant or budgeting or a lot of other stuff, but that's important to consider. And what I usually recommend people do is save up for it, go halfsies with a friend, coworker, or family member, or host a class so you can get some of your costs subsidized. Those are three practical solutions. Did I suggest that to her? I mean, I've done videos on it, but anyways. So I put in the description of the video, kind of recap what happened. So I covered a direct message that I received on Instagram. So she reached out to me, which is good. It's best when sales come to you. And, well, didn't turn into a sale, but then I received on Instagram, so I received this on Instagram from a woman who wanted to start an essential oil business with me. And we set up a 15-minute call, and we were going to do a 1-hour class over the phone, but she ended up saying that the essential oils were outside her budget after I sent the PDF over, and she wanted to get out of debt first. So I guess when I'm working with someone, again, that's where that saying comes in. You want to move towards the person that moved towards you, and if they don't, then you talk to the next person. I mean, that'll get any wellness advocate or any sales related, especially commission-based position person, in the right mindset of abundance mentality, and there's a lot of people to help. And then again, the some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting. I mean, really, I want to focus on the some wills and the someone's waitings, but this was the someone didn't want to cooperate and want to do our own thing and said it was outside of her budget. And again, there's I think I'm at the point where I can communicate, hey, well, there's 3 ways that you can get it in the budget, right? You can save up for it, that takes time. Stash App is great for that. I've done some videos on that. You can just YouTube search Stash App Lance McGowan for those. And then there's also go half-seas or quarter-seas with friends, family, coworkers based on what their needs and goals are for their health are. So to subsidize your cost, or host a class and invite friends and family to and based on their sales, that would subsidize or completely pay for your first month's products. And so there's a lot that could be done. I think it's just wanting it enough. And she was clearly looking for something, but didn't want it that bad. This video is more about the follow-up that I did to that, because she basically said, hey, follow up with me in 6 months, and we'll go from there, basically. Because I asked her, like, when should I, when's a good time to touch base again with you? 6 months is a long time. I mean, there is a principle that says the longer you wait, the less likely you are to make a purchasing decision. There is that. But some people, there are exceptions, right? There's exceptions to every rule, and some people, they just really were saving money, or they really were, making sure they got good with their husband and went over with him and went over the finances and then got their finances right. That didn't seem to be the case, because this time it wasn't about the money. And the second reason she gave me, it was, I'm not interested. So first of all, it was, it's not in my budget. Then it was, I'm not interested. So I actually set a calendar reminder to actually follow up with her in my phone, which is so I don't forget stuff. And I actually did follow up. They say fortune's in the follow-up. I believe that to be true. It's not always going to happen quick or with an individual that you want, but sometimes it does, and that's awesome. And it's not necessarily fortune, it's being rich in relationships too, not just rich in finances or rich in mental health or rich in emotional health or physical health and stuff. There's lots of ways to be rich, and I think people focus way more on the financial side. I guess rich would, in the context it's been used, would typically lend to that. But anyways, I sent the text about 6 months later. It was like 6 months and a day or two or something. I said, hey, it's Lance McGowan with doTERRA and YouTube. How are you? I was touching base to see if there was a good time to touch base again. Okay, that was a little redundant, but about getting started with a wholesale account or essential oil kit. So I kind of went straight into it. I was like, hey, we kind of talked. We didn't do the class, but, this stuff's going to help you. It's helped me so much. It's helped my customers, people that do the business. It's great. And you don't have to do the business, but it helps your health. Be a product of the product. But that was originally what she wanted, right? She wanted to do the business. But you have to get a kit first, basically, to enroll and get a wholesale account. She says, hey, Lance, thank you for reaching out, but it isn't in the books. Thank you kindly, exclamation point. So after 6 months of me patiently waiting and putting a calendar reminder, obviously I was doing life. I wasn't like, ooh, month 1, 5 more months to go before I get to follow up with her. I mean, I don't get that excited, but I mean, it is nice when somebody responds favorably to your follow-up and when you actually do follow up. But anyways, not in this case. I said, isn't in the books, question mark? So I followed up, seeking understanding, right? And I want some clarification. So I come to the accurate conclusion. And then she said her final text that I didn't respond back to. She says, I'm not interested at this time. Thank you. Shot to the heart, you're too late. I followed up 6 months and didn't get her to buy an oil kit. It happens. That's life. I will continue to go back to the things I already mentioned. Move towards people that move towards you. If they don't, talk to the next person. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. She was the, some won'ts. And that's okay. That's fine. Again, abundance mentality. I have that with everything I do. If it's not you, then who? If it's not now, then when? Am I giving up on this person? I mean, I'm going to leave it up to her. She reached out to me on Instagram initially. I tried to set up a class. She didn't want to do it. I mean, it could be one of the things, some people may be like unintentionally playing hard to get, with their business that they want to start. But it's okay. Either way, it's all good. I mean, I think that happens a lot, whether it's in relationships, business, or health. There's things that we want that we don't get. There's things that other people that want that they don't get. I mean, it's how we deal with these disappointments or maybe setbacks or challenges or not getting our way. Do we throw a temper tantrum like little kids, or do we say, hey, abundance mentality, there's plenty more fish in the sea, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they hungry too, this fish. They swim in a different way, maybe they just got fed with something else, but I think my fish food is really good. But hey, maybe they don't like my fish food right now, they just ate some little pebbles that are GMO, and I'm offering some really good, plankton and seaweed, and they, it's organic, non-GMO, but maybe they're like, hey, I ate my little non-GMO pellets that are made from ground up fish and wheat and corn and crap. But, hey, that could be the case, because if you're full, but I'm like, hey, I'm offering something of better value, but they may not value the seaweed, fish sometimes, they don't want to eat the seaweed, they're used to eating maybe other fish. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think the moral of the story is there's other fish in the sea. So let's try to catch those instead of the ones that got away. Okay. That has lots of applications for, like, again, relationships and business and health. So I just want to mention that, because typically, being a good catch is... Anyways, hit the like button if you did. Share this video with somebody that would benefit from it. And most importantly, check out those links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on and, continue your personal development, self-improvement journey. It's all about growth, not being perfect, right, with what we do, but you know, it's all about progress and trying to do things with excellence, you know, doing our best. And I think we can make the world a better place and help ourselves be a better version of ourselves at the same time. And I'll see you in the next video.